Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Moshinobi here. It's been quite some time, apart from I think I did one movie review or anything. Anyway, Dan from Chaos Doctrine is back for a second appearance to put up with my verbal diarrhea. How is it going in South Africa today, man?
Things are good, bud. Things are good. How are things up there, way far from here?
Things are surprisingly very warm, actually, and not bad, man. Not bad at all. So just to jump straight in, I remember, I think when we were talking on email just before I went and kind of disappeared for 5 weeks on this intensive course, you mentioned you had some new material. I think you did a show recently as well, if I've remembered correctly.
Yeah, we've got a brand new album coming out.
Whoa, nice.
So we've been running since Jan. Let me begin at the end and move my way back. So our new album is called Bellum. It's coming out at the end of April. So what we did is this time around, rather than just going, well, here's our release, we built a little, let's say a little journey, you know. So every month since Jan, we've been landing something or re-landing something just to reintroduce the album, some of the tracks from it, some new covers, a new single coming next month. We released a new video last month. New single coming this month. Holy shit, it's April. I've been planning this for so long that it feels like forever, you know?
Yeah, I know the feeling, man.
Yeah. So we can go into detail just now, but we had 3 singles off the album out. So what we wanted to do was we've gotten so many new fans since we released the first single in 2022.
Oh, nice.
We wanted to take everyone on the same journey and say, this song came out in May 2022.
Yeah.
It was the single then. This was the hype. Listen to the same version that we put up then. The album will have a remixed, better version because we're always improving our mixes. That was Jan, Feb. In March, we landed a video with an older song. And now in April, there's a cover coming next Friday. And then there's a single coming the week after. And then the album the week after that. So we also had a cover in Feb. So it's been a busy time with one show and then a couple shows from our launch onward. We had one show a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice. So I've been stupidly busy since we last talked then. Are you exploring some of the same themes that was on the first album, or a little bit different this time?
I think if you had to sort of look at it holistically, you would say yes.
Yeah.
Still very sort of metal themes. I like history. I like war. I like Satan. Not really. I'm joking. This is metal.
Yeah, no, the theatrics.
You know, so it's a little bit of darkness and evil and war and church and this and that. So let's say sticking within the Chaos Doctrine realm, but it doesn't have that big lies focus that we had on and in the beginning they lied, which was the previous album.
Yeah.
I think some of that will still filter through, but that wasn't the big overarching theme. The new album is called Bellum, which is Latin for war. There's 2 reasons I chose that. Firstly, because the previous album was called And in the Beginning They Lied, which is 2 sentences. I was like, this time we're going one word. I got tired of writing out full sentences every time I want to talk about the album. And secondly, I mean, that's a bit of tongue in cheek, but the word Bellum and war just, it's so heavy and so intense and so contemporary, and not because of Ukraine, just because of the world or Israel, just because of the world and the human condition. And all of the songs sort of, it has that theme from a different angle, because everything is war in the end in metal, right? In real metal, at least. We don't sing about our moms and Christmas.
It kind of I'm not saying there's not bands who've done it where they're maybe growling about running through a field of flowers or something, but it tends to not really go with the vibe or theme, does it?
Yeah, I love bunnies, puppies, and kittens as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to be singing about it.
yeah, exactly, man. I know you've been getting some good press as well from places like Mexico and everywhere. I just had a quick look on the Facebook page. Man, since we last talked, it seems word is really getting out there.
Yeah, it's quite nice. We also hit Metal Hammer twice.
Whoa,
With Metal
nice,
Hammer in
man.
2022, our track Marta hit like, best track of the week, one of the top 100 best tracks of the year. And then
Nice.
last year, One of My Bad Days hit the same best track of the week, best 100 tracks of the year, or top 10 best tracks of the week. Let me not say best track, top 10 best tracks of the week. And that song, One of My Bad Days, is the same song we just launched a video for. I think it was the very end of April. Yeah, the last Friday of April. Of March, sorry. The last Friday of March, we shot a brand new video, sort of reflecting the lyrics and stuff. So that was a bundle of fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I bet it was,
man.
man.
We got press from Hungary, from Mexico. We usually hit South America pretty hard. I don't know why, because we don't push press in there, but we seem to get it, which is really nice. Press from Spain and a couple of other European countries. So it's really nice. I really like the South American vibe and the European vibe. I think America and the Far East still a bit elusive, but the rest of the world we seem to hit pretty nicely.
Yeah, we've had quite a lot of guests on the show from South America. There's certainly that passion there. Huge scene for whatever genre as well.
That's awesome. Also, it's a huge continent.
Yeah.
Huge continent, lots of countries. So I'm going to guess there's way more metalheads in South America than there is in Africa, for example. I'm guessing. I'm not saying that for a fact, but I would guess. I mean, Sepultura is from there, after all.
Yeah.
But
it's nice word is getting out there, man. And that's going to encourage people to check out the scene and maybe encourage more bands to come and play in South Africa as well, which is only a good thing.
Yeah.
And you've got the album launch coming soon as well, 27th of April.
Yeah.
Horror dress theme as well, so you'll be in full Rasputin mode, I would imagine.
We're doing something a bit different. So I'll probably do the Rasputin kit somewhere in the set, but because it's a horror dress theme, the band wanted to do something different too. So we're going to dress up a little bit, as your classic contemporary horror.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, COVID or something.
That's definitely. That's a horror for sure, man. But you're playing that with Desert Mother.
Yes.
They're from Johannesburg. I'm guessing just on the name, first time I've ever heard of them. Would they be? I could be totally wrong with this. Are they desert rock or stoner rock or sludge?
Actually, a bit more proggy.
Right.
Female vocals, quite serious musicians. So I would sort of say rock, but a lot more proggy than classic stoner kind of vibes. I think kind of like, I don't know, Opeth, less heavy than Opeth, but in that direction, and with the girl singing properly, not like growly growls,
Yeah. So
they're really cool, and they're really cool guys too. So I'm quite psyched to play with them.
Oh, that's pretty sick, man.
It'll be our first show with them, so that will be really fun.
Nice.
We wanted to choose them every time we do a show, and we don't organize a lot of shows for ourselves because it's just so much effort. But whenever we put a show together, we try and find bands we haven't played with, just to meet new people and just expose our fans to different people and maybe get exposed to their fans. So it's a lot of fun. For me, when you go and see a show and there's 3 bands and every band is from a different genre of metal or alternative or rock, I enjoy that quite a lot more than watching 3 death metal bands or 3 black metal bands. It's like, give me a good one from each genre and I'm happy. And I think some of our big shows too, we've played with glam, like proper glam rock bands. We've played with this like sort of pop punk from the late 90s, some 41, Blink 182 kind of bands. So that's fun, power metal bands. To me, that's quite a bit of fun and for the audience, it's a little bit different rather than 10 bands that sound like Cannibal Corpse,
Yeah, it's been a bit the same with doing the interviews on here in the past. It's I've always said this. I've interviewed many bands where I aren't a particular fan of that genre of that music. Anyone who knows me, it's probably been pretty obvious to them. I don't know, I'm not sounding arrogant there, but I could have sat just talking to Gaz is hardcore, Gaz is death metal, grindcore, non-stop. Gets a bit boring. You want to freshen it up, talk, have some different conversations, get a bit of a different perspective. And to be honest, most of them were fine. They say, look, I'm not massively into this genre, it's not my thing, but I'll still talk to you. Because otherwise, like you said, with playing no shows or seeing no shows, it's just, this is going to sound so, I'm probably going to upset one part of the community. Like, oh, this guy's turning his back on death metal. Ah! But it can get to be then when you're just having the same conversation, as you said, it's just nice to freshen it up. I did look on some of the info for this show, though. Am I right? Is this going to be live streamed as well?
We're trying, or that's the plan.
Yeah.
I think we're on like 99%. So a good friend of the band is on Twitch. I'm going to try and remember his name now. Is it Lotzer? I'll check it if I don't remember. So we're hoping to stream on his channel. He does a lot of his channel is a lot of sort of industrial,
Nice.
More in the industrial direction, your Ministries and Nine Inch Nails and that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So I don't see us as an industrial band. We're an industrial metal band. So, I mean, you've heard our stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really, really cool. Like I said, friend of the band. It'd be cool to get some exposure out there for us, and to do something else.
Yeah.
We also have a lot of friends, a lot of fans that aren't in Joburg or aren't in South Africa. So I'd really like if we can pull this one off, Even South African people that have seen us like maybe once. We were in Cape Town last year, roughly the time we spoke. We have a whole lot of fans down there that dig to see us. So it'd be cool if we can get that sorted.
I've got to ask as well, Dan, who did the artwork for you this time? Can we chat about that yet? I know the release.
Have you seen it?
I haven't. No, I'm having a little look around.
It's sort of floating around. I must give you a copy where you can post it in your comments or something. So It was Phil again. Phil's our bass player. He's our visual art or our primary visual artist.
Yeah.
Every now and then I like to use somebody just for a single or for a video, but Phil does 99% of our stuff. So the album is called Bellum, and the cover is Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva sort of what's the word? Sort of captured in mist and smoke and lightning and stuff.
Yeah, the Destroyer.
With the cover idea, I mean, also it's Bellum, war, and so that goes with Lord Shiva. But there's a song on the album called The Destroyer, which is about sort of a nuclear warfare being interpreted as the wrath of Lord Shiva. So the lyrics are written where it's nuclear warfare, but the way it's seen is like this is Lord Shiva coming down and smashing up. So that was the idea for the album cover. I mean, you would have noticed we're big into myth and big into history and stuff. So I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember from our last conversation, and I am trying to behave myself so hard at the moment because you've immediately got me thinking of some of the things we talked about last time, particularly one episode of Ancient Aliens, referring to pretty much what you said. I remember the episode. I can see it now, and that's immediately what's going off in my mind already. So I'm trying to behave myself. I'll go off on a random side tangent outside of Chaos Doctrine.
Oh, that's cool, man. I love talking about anything that's fun.
Yeah. Well, to put around...
We ran voice loops of Oppenheimer, and it's a load of fun. We wanted to set it in context properly. So what's really cool about that song, just while I'm talking about it.
Yeah, go for it.
What about the album in general? I think the album has 9 songs, and if you get the hard copy, it's got 3 covers on it too. And most of the songs are quite different to what we've done in the past. So there's like One of My Bad Days, which is the one we brought out a new video for. I think that sounds a lot like stuff we've done before, but with a newer twist. But a lot of the other songs are very, very different, but still distinctly us. So The Destroyer is like a mid-tempo song. It's got a shitload of sitar in it, picked sitar and bow sitar. And it's just, it was just a load of fun. I think I recorded the vocals during the original COVID lockdown, did something very old school death metal, which is the first time I'd done that. It sounds like it's 1,000 years ago, you know.
Yeah,
People go, really, 2020, you recorded your vocals, album's coming out now? It's like, yeah, because A, I've got a real job, and B, because we're perfectionists. So the album was done in 2022, and then we restarted our entire mixing process 3 times. So that's why it's coming out now. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, no, you're fine, man, for sure. I did see the cover for Heretic, and you've got the ancient, no, not ancient Egypt, sorry. As we've seen, ancient aliens, my bad.
Yeah, it's got Akhenaten in the middle.
Yeah, sorry. It's on the side of Sumeria,
yeah, Sumeria and the Anunnaki on the sides. Yes.
Yeah, that man is sick. That caught my attention straight away, and I thought, man, that's nice. And I think the nerd in me and being interested in that kind of those kind of topics, it's nice to hear that coming into extreme metal as well, because it's not too common.
Surely you saw that episode of Ancient Aliens, right?
Yeah.
I think they're going to start. Discovery Channel's going to sue me for what's the word I'm looking for? For plagiarism. Like, Daniel, can you come up with lyrics that's not from History Channel? You know, or not Discovery, History Channel. So where that came from, I mean, Akhenaten was the first pharaoh to bring in monotheism. And then the whole theory, obviously, is the Aten, which is the sun disk, that was actually an alien ship, and that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that's why we brought the Anunnaki angle in. Because surely if they were alien gods, they were all the same alien gods, or at least related alien gods. So we thought, if we're going to play with this, we might as well play with this properly. So that song, Heretic, that one is a shitload of fun. That's also a new single that's coming out on the 19th of April. What's different about Heretic, if you listen to that, and I must share these tracks with you. It's our first track that is like proper old school. I don't want to say grindcore because it's not that fast, but like proper old school death metal, full throttle. Like, you, with the first minute and maybe even minute and a half, you're like, holy shit, Chaos Doctrine, this doesn't sound like you guys at all. I mean, it still does because it's me vocaling. But and then that moment arrives, and we just do the biggest breakdown we've ever done. And then it's like, oh wait, there's the industrial. I always say sometimes it sounds like we took a bag of tools and chucked it down a fire escape, you know, clang, clang, clang. So dude, give it a spin. It's heavy. It is so heavy. It is fast. It is nasty. But I love it. We're also playing that first live for the first time at our launch at the end of the
Oh man, and that's the way to get the blood pumping and get the attention as well. I always love it when something like that comes out and just gets straight in there, because it's like and then just everyone's like, that's awesome.
It's like proper, no like big intro. It's just like guitar death metal. In your face, like a punch in the throat. You know?
Man, sounds like my jam.
Oh yeah, I think you'll dig it. I'm gonna share it with you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Got me stoked already, man. So when did you finish recording this one? I know, because we haven't talked for a while, and I do remember you shot me an email over once, and I think you'd either just started working on the album or you were maybe wrapping it up. I know it was a while ago.
Yeah, I think we were wrapping it up. We started, in all earnest, we started recording this album probably in 2020 already, when the other one was just about done, the previous one. And we've redone a couple of pieces and stuff, like I mentioned earlier, but we probably finished properly recording sort of Q3 last year. Let me sound corporate. And then we redid a couple of pieces between October and December, guitar pieces and stuff that we wanted to get tighter. Yeah. So our last mixes were done on the 18th of December last year. I know that because I've got it in a folder with the date on my phone, so I see it often. And Alec Alec is our guitarist, and he mixed and produced the album, and he was just like, from about October, we were like, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. And at some point in December, he literally switched off every plugin and every fucking mixing console he had on there, and he started afresh with the mixes, and he hit it. And I was like, oh my God, dude, I don't know what you did, but keep doing that now. And it was just like kapow, you know, it's like when like, oh, you know, one of those holy moments. So it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm really psyched getting the album out there. And the mix is still raw enough to sound sort of kind of old school, but it's definitely 7 steps up from our previous album from a technical production point of view, which is nice. Our songs are complex, and if the mix isn't pristine, you're going to struggle to hear everything that happened in there.
Yeah. I think I remember us talking about this first time around. It sounds like you've got that balance, with keeping the rawness, like that raw gutterness, but up the production as well. So, because sometimes and I said this in our first conversation as well, ultra raw sometimes works for some genres. It goes so well, it can't sound too clean. But other ones, and this is sometimes lost on people I know in the scene, where I'm like, look, this doesn't work for this particular genre, for example. It's not going to work. It's not like lo-fi black metal or really raw grindcore or raw hardcore, for example. Look, it's not going to work because the listening ear isn't going to pick that up. This just does not work. You need to, and sometimes that's lost. So I think when you've got that balance, which I think that's what I think is good with modern death and metal, is bands are taking the rawness and then keeping the production as well. So the sound quality is awesome, but it's still got that really in your face nastiness, emotion. It's like, yeah, man, I want more of it.
Exactly. So we spoke about this at length last time, actually.
Yeah.
Because we've got layers and layers of stuff happening in our music. There's multi-guitar tracks, there's multi-bass tracks, there's multi-vocal tracks, the drums. Then we layer in their keyboards, voice loops, percussion, noise loops, all kinds of orchestral arrangements. So if your production isn't clean, you're not going to hear all that shit. It's just going to become a big, nasty ball of noise in the middle of your head. And your ears are going to go, I actually don't know what this is, and I'm not enjoying it. So we work hard to get the production clean, but to still leave it a bit of raw,
Yeah. Speaking of raw, I'm just going to have to mute for a second. Get a demon attack.
No worries.
I knew I should have put some water at the side, man. I thought, oh no, I don't need any today. I'll be fine.
Just get some,
I'm okay now. Now it's gone. So, what do you have any more videos coming to support the album as well? I know on your channel there's a ridiculous amount. There's songs you've played live. There's the new video for Bad Days. You've recently got, I think, the Road to Our album, part 5 as well, the Sabbath Doctrine. That's quite nice. I like that. There's a stupid amount of activity on there. So, anything else coming soon? Yeah, it's non-stop, man.
So not more formal, more for like official videos, but more visualizers. So we like to just push out visualizers on YouTube. We also use that stuff for some of our live shows. So Heretic as a visualizer, doing videos is costly from a time and financial perspective. So we don't want to do that too often, but make it special, like Slayer in their entire career, I think, made 4 music videos. So not that I'm saying we're Slayer, but if they can get away with it, I'm going to try to. But yeah, there'll be more stuff. You touched on Sabbath. Sabbath is our second cover project. It's coming out next week on the 19th. There's 2 versions. So what we did, instead of choosing a Sabbath song, we chose 10 Sabbath songs, and we laced them together in a medley, and there's 2 versions of this. There's like let's say a clean version, which is just metal, straightforward. And then there's an industrial version. We call them chapters 1 and 2. And then there's chapter 3 coming out later in the year, which will have different singers on each of the tracks.
So I like that.
Make it different South African singers. Yeah, we wanted to try something. We love collabs. So, got a couple of friends from other bands. I still have 2 or 3 people I need to record, and then we'll bring that out too.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I like that. I do. You put up. I found this amusing as well. Roswell 47 lyrics. How death metal bands write lyrics. The instant wah blah wah wah wah.
And that was Peter Doctrine posted that. You have to love Peter Doctrine. It's like the secret revealed.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about death metal. So we've been experimenting with some clean singing in our track Martyr, which came out last year. We're also doing that live for the first time at the end of this month with our show at our launch with Laura Ann, who did the Jean d'Arc mix.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you start singing clean stuff, you better make sure you know all your words, you know?
Yeah.
With death metal, if you just go rah, 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 nobody's going to know.
I think I may have told you this story before last time you were on. I've probably shared it with numerous people. A friend of mine years ago who's been a death metal band, and I remember being at one of his shows, and I said to him at the time, I said, how would you remember the words and the lyrics, man? And I honestly wasn't poking fun. It was what I thought was a serious question at the time. And he said to me, "Oh, Gaz," he said, "honestly, man, if I just forget, I just growl, make it up." He said, "Nobody knows. No one knows the difference. Doesn't matter." He said, "As long as my growls are on point and they sound harsh and the music's heavy," he said, "no one cares."
Sing a different song.
I always found that hilarious. And of course, I'm sure there'll be someone sat there, very serious, V-neck jumping up. "I take this really serious. I get all my growls to
I mean, obviously, I try, but like everything in life, every now and then you're in a moment and your brain just goes, nah. The best and the funniest is Phil, our bass player, does backing vocal with me on stage. And if I get something wrong at the same time as where he sings a piece, it's always like I get the j'accuse look, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And then sometimes I throw him off and he's like, oh my God, am I doing the wrong thing? It's really funny. So I try, obviously, like I said, I try and remember everything. It's not like I do this on purpose.
Yeah.
Now and then at my age, shit happens.
The thing is, man, when you're in a moment, as you rightly said, things can happen. It's the same. I've always done this show as very organic, just natural as possible, because if you go and trying to be too scripted, it's really robotic. It doesn't come across as authentic. And honestly, man, they're as boring as hell to do. It's like sometimes I can understand if English isn't the first language when you're sick and you send me an example of questions, things to talk about, give an idea, prepare. Okay, fine. But say if they're fluent in English or it's the first language, I want to see all the questions I find. I'm like, I don't know them myself. We'll be talking, and I'm like, dude, if that's the case, you might as well just ask someone for an email interview, because seriously, it'd be boring as hell. Boring as hell to do. Boring as hell to
prepare. Yeah. Who wants to prepare for shit? That's so boring.
Yeah.
It feels like work or like school,
Yeah, exactly, man. And I've got to ask you, going totally off topic, but I know you're a huge movie head as well. But yeah, and we do this. I've got to ask you, man, and we are going with my buddy from Planet X Films, Ross. Shout out to Ross. We are going to be reviewing both the OG Crow, then the blasphemous remake that's coming of the Crow. Don't get us started on that. I've got to ask, man, your opinion. Do you think the Crow, Brandon Lee, do you think that should have been left alone? They shouldn't have done this remake that's coming out.
Who's playing the Crow again?
It's Bill Skarsgård, I think. He was actually a good actor.
Oh, the dude who was Pennywise.
Yeah.
Now, see, he made a great fucking Pennywise, right?
He did.
So based purely on that, I'm like, I'm quite open-minded about anything, So I'll probably watch it. Yeah, I watched The Crow quite recently, and I really wish I didn't. It was kind of like, you and I are roughly the same age. I grew up with the A-Team, Airwolf, Knight Rider, shows like that, MacGyver. You watch that shit now, it's like your childhood destroyed. And The Crow to me wasn't that bad. I just felt it was a little bit more emo than I needed to remember.
Dude, honestly, if you think that one's emo, see the trailer for the new Crow. The thing is, me and Ross were saying, like, we grew up with the Crow legendary soundtrack, etc., etc.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is amazing.
But when you see the new trailer, man, it looks like nothing against Bill Skarsgård. He is a good actor, a lot of good stuff. But this man, you think the first one's emo. I'm just like, why? There's even a montage scene where there's all these people like wearing these pink kind of clothes or suits or something. It almost could be like a tampon commercial, to be honest. It's just like, why am I supposed to be the Crow? It's supposed to be really dark, brooding. I'll give it this. The few action scenes they showed looks okay, but I know. Look, I always say this. Even though I'm expecting nothing, I'll go with an open mind. If it is actually good and I say, hey, this is good, I'll say so. For example, we recently reviewed the Roadhouse remake, which I thought based on the trailer was going to be horrendous, and it's actually, I mean, it's not it's not awesome,
Oh,
but
who's
it's
in
not
that?
bad. It's not bad. It's not terrible. The action scenes are decent enough. The recent movie that dropped that we're reviewing later, Monkey Man, Indian action movie, that is pretty sick. That's worth a watch. So I'm just nerd ranting.
What? Who's in Roadhouse? Anyone famous?
Conor McGregor is the villain in it, and Jake Gyllenhaal, can't even pronounce his name now. Jake Gyllenhaal, I've probably butchered that. Plays Dalton in this one.
I'll check it. I love the original Roadhouse. I watched that when I was like 12 or something, right?
We have a buddy of ours, Lauren Lepre, who's an actor and has an indie film company. He used to be a wrestler as well, and he did a short kind of indie film, like I think it was a spiritual sequel based on the original Roadhouse. And he is such a passionate fan of the original. Now, we haven't spoke to him yet about the remake. We've got a feeling he maybe will kill us, because we all said in the review, actually, it's not that bad. It's not the best thing ever. But Lauren probably will differ. So that will be an interesting conversation.
Did you see the Roadhouse episode of Family Guy?
No, man. I'll have to look that up.
Oh, dude, he keeps Peter Griffin keeps Roundhouse kicking everybody.
Oh,
then
man,
he goes Roadhouse. It is fucking hilarious. You have to watch it.
I'll have to pee that, no doubt, man. Yeah.
Find
so,
it.
So I'll come back to Chaos Doctrine just for a moment. I was just curious because I know you're a huge movie head. Definitely, if they ever get this Falling Down movie made, I definitely will hit you up to get your thoughts on that, on the remake.
We spoke about Falling Down last time.
Yeah.
As long as they put somebody amazing in there and they stick to the concept and the darkness, that'd be great.
So out of the other themes on the album, you mentioned some of them. Is there anything different? Is there any very slow kind of down tempo industrial tracks? What I mean by that is, the very slow. The slow beat industrial. I just wonder if you've got anything like that on there. I know you've got the Rages.
Not on this album. Right. We got one of those on the previous album called Christchurch Horizon, which is like 120 BPM, slow and angry. On this album, there's two fast ones.
Yeah.
The one is mid-tempo, cross over to fast. That's called Building the Ultimate Tank, which is very, very industrial metal. It is angry. We've been playing it live now for about a year.
Nice.
That's really, it's like 2.5 minutes, and it's all about, it's like a dystopic nightmare kind of song, That's why it's called Building the Ultimate Tank. It's all sort of like V for Vendetta, 1984 kind of theme. And then the other one towards the end of the album is called 86, but that's like an up-tempo industrial track. So both of those songs, I built the tracks from scratch. So they're very different in our writing process than most of our songs. So those two, I would build the entire song beforehand, the industrial track, with the percussion and with the drums. And then Alec, the guitarist, would write the riffs on top of that. How we usually write songs is Alec or myself or Phil would write some riffs, and then we would put the industrial to it. But those two, we did the other way around. So if you listen to them, they came out a little bit different, but they're scratchy and ugly,
Nice.
The 86 song. 86 is an old saying from Las Vegas, which is 80 miles out, 6 foot deep, which is all about burying people out in the desert,
Oh, man.
So the lyrics are really primordial. It's just about smashing people's faces in,
Yeah.
It's not my most intelligent moment, but it was
fun to nice feel-good song.
Yeah, a feel-good song, exactly, man. Angel of Death.
Do you have any merch coming, man? Shirts, vinyl releases, pre-orders. I imagine now the pre-orders have been shipped.
We got CDs, and then we're bringing out some T-shirts, caps, beanies, just some standard kind of merch. And then later on, we'll explore. I like to explore with different kinds of merch. Like I want to do blankets and shit like that. That'll be fun.
Whatever. I always say to people
use.
Yeah.
I've bottle openers,
Yeah, exactly. There should be no limit. I always say to people, look, if you think about it, if it could be the most boring thing, but if it's got some artwork of something you really like, a band, movie, whatever, exactly, you're going to think, all right, yeah, I'll have that. Yeah, for real. The same. I'm the same with rash guards and wrestling spats. There's not too many, but recently, the last few years, they started doing some metal rash guards, and it's only like Slayer, Iron Maiden, stuff like that at the moment. There's not too many bands, but I've asked this.
You mean like wrist, like sweat bands?
No, like rash guards for MMA and wrestling spats.
Okay.
I've said to some bands before, I've said, man, I said, there's an option to put your artwork, your band logo on there, because people like me would love to have that option, to have that kind of artwork on our training gear. There's a line, there's a company called Tatami, and they've got a few. Like I said, they've got Slayer, Iron Maiden. I think there's a few other bands, but nothing much at the moment. And I've thought that's got to be an untapped resource there for bands that they could get into. The only thing is, like with how vinyl's stupidly expensive, I've got the feeling it might not be cheap because it's specialized material. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. But it's probably maybe has something to do with it, because the most I've ever seen is the usual has been like hoodies or basketball jerseys. Sometimes that's about it. So
that's not something you want to make cheap, because then you're just gonna get hurt.
Yeah. Look, I'm getting beat up while I'm.
You sell skateboard gear, cheap skateboard gear, helmets and knee guards and shit, or bike gear. You fall on your head and you die.
Yeah.
Helmet cracks open.
Yeah, anyone who's ever skated knows you go through equipment. It never lasts long at all. So, what would be then? It's 9-track album. So, I'm going to ask you a bit of because there'll be someone saying, "Oh, you haven't asked him this." So I hate asking generic questions, to be honest, but I'll throw one in. What would be your favorite song from the album, or do you like them all? So I can get that pleases anybody out there who said, "Oh, you didn't ask him."
You know what? Like, I can't, because every song is different.
Yeah, that's good though, man.
And the thing that Chaos Doctrine does, when I remember in 2020, 2021, Alec and I were sitting in this very studio, and we were like, holy shit, dude, this album isn't like an album where this one song goes into the next, but there's a song for everyone.
Yeah.
And this time around, it's the same. There's 9 tracks. And if I had to talk you through it and explain why every song is different, that would be a little bit boring and take long. But for example, Marta, clean vocals, slow, big orchestrations, a little bit of death metal in the middle, right? Then we have Lifting the Veil, which came out, we re-released in January, 200 BPM thrash death metal with a touch of industrial. Similar to that, One of My Bad Days, a bit slower, but grindy thrash industrial. But then those 2 songs I just spoke about, 86, Building the Ultimate Tank, sort of hard techno industrial. Then there's, what did I mention earlier? The Destroyer, mid-tempo, like clean guitars and sitar, Then there's a track which I haven't mentioned called Trial. Trial, I think, is 7.5 minutes long. It is big orchestra. It starts death metal as hell, and then it's just big orchestrations that go into riffs that sound like we stole it from Led Zeppelin and made it heavy, back into big orchestrations, back into death metal. So it's this like unsettling journey through sort of semi-off tempo rhythms and shit. And then I think the only song I haven't mentioned would be Civilization, which is the last track on the album. Also about 7.5 minutes long journey, close the dystopic loop that Building the Ultimate Tank started, thrash metal, but again, giant orchestrations, death metal bridge. So it's like, it's clearly metal and it's clearly us, but like you can't say this song and this song is the same. Like you can say Rain and Blood and I don't know, War Ensemble, clearly both Slayer songs, Our songs are never like that similar except for here and there, you'll find 2 or 3 or 4 songs that are like thrash, because every now and then we're like, let's just write a fucking thrash metal song, you know? But yeah, we like to keep it different. We like to push our own boundaries. We like to go, you know what we haven't done ever? And no, Daniel, what haven't? Well, we haven't if we combine this with that and we put, and then the Oaks are like, holy shit, that's so stupid. It might just work, you know? So yeah, like Alec is a giant gent head. He loves Meshuggah and Persephone and Gojira and bands like that.
Yeah.
And we've never let him just unleash his gent. So on album 4, hopefully we'll do a little bit of jicka, you know, because we've just never done that properly. So yeah, we like to push our own boundaries, you know, keep it interesting.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I know you always like to, as you say, keep it interesting, freshen it up. Certainly don't get bored with creating the music then, and it's something different. Perfect example for me to shout out Brett and Minnie from band I cannot remember. Please save me so I don't look totally unprofessional.
Oh my God, now because you can't remember, now I can't remember.
Apologies.
Like I was thinking, and dude, I've known Brett since like I was 22, 23.
Well,
oh, come on, dude. His album's like, it's like his CD is in my room over there.
There's something. The easy thing I could do, I should just look actually on the channel, shouldn't I?
Oh my God, he's never going to talk to either of us again.
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, I'm never coming on again.
The Medea project, man.
That's it, the Medea project. Yep, saved. Thank you.
God, I haven't even been drinking today. Maybe that's why I can't remember.
Yeah, man. If we were both hammered, maybe be more on point.
Yeah.
But I think it was Brett who said when I talked to him, and it just goes along with what you were saying, where you can experiment with music. You can do something, can still be heavy. It can still have that core essence, even if it's not a full-on rager, as long as you've got like that essence of the band, of what you are. So, and I know that's something that you've always done with Chaos Doctrine and going forward. And if my nerdy imagination's going crazy now, but even the name, if you think Chaos Doctrine, like this doctrine of chaos in the sense of this amalgamation of all these different chaotic sounds, but I mean this in a good way, not in a bad.
Well, if you want to hear that, you just have to listen to our previous album, the first and the last track. The first track is called And in the Beginning. The last track is called They Lied, and it's just filthy, you know? So I mean, if you go listen to Martyr, Martyr starts off, when I start singing, people were like, yo, bro. Like, you know, kind of David Bowie meets Ozzy Osbourne, and people are like, shit. And then suddenly it's death metal, and they're like, okay, wait a minute. This sounds, because we do stuff because we can. You know, we're all in our mid to late 40s, and we're like, why must I constrain myself to one sub genre of metal? Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's boring.
I think that's a good thing. I think that's changed a lot now, where there are a lot of bands who are doing different takes on music, different genres, or one album can be different. Look, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say if one of my favorite hardcore bands strays too far, like Terror, for example. I love that band. I've loved them forever. One of my all-time favorite bands. And if this were, you know, on their next album, and I'm expecting some really fast, aggressive hardcore, and it strays too far, and I'm like, man, this isn't Terror. What's this?
Now, what's different is we've done this since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, like even our first album, which was our self-titled debut, that's a lot more sort of genre specific. And what I mean with that is it's industrialized thrash / death metal. So the riffs are predictable and the songs are predictable. And from there, I mean, our EP had techno versions of stuff. Our second album was all over the place. So we've always done it. I do not want to hear the Slayer Blues album. I do not want, I don't want Iron Maiden to do a rap album. Don't get me wrong at all. Like, you know, I love
that. That was my point with saying with Terror. Yeah, I'm totally with you.
Exactly. I think what I mean is we try and push the box of our genre bigger and bigger. So we're never going to play ballads, but Martyr is goddamn close to that. We're never going to do grindcore, but Heretic is sort of very close to that in the beginning of the song. You know, I think the only band I've ever liked that stepped out of their genre completely. I don't know if you're into Wasp. Wasp did an album called KFD,
Right.
Kill Fuck Die, and you know, Wasp is sort of like, to me, it's the heavy metal edge of glam. They're like the filthiest glam band. Motley Crue, if you like roll it in broken glass.
Right.
They did an album called KFD, Kill Fuck Die, which was like an industrial metal album. For me, that worked, and I loved that. You know, the same with LA Guns did an album called The American Hardcore, and Skid Row did an album called Subhuman Race. So all three of these were sort of glam rock bands, and they did these albums that were just like, oh my God, what is this filthy shit? You know, but they went super heavy and then came back to their home genre, as opposed to the ridiculous examples I just came up with. Can you imagine Kerry King playing like like ZZ Top riffs? You know, that'd be hilarious.
Didn't one of the dudes from Carcass, wasn't it Jeff Walker, didn't he do a blues or country album, didn't he, I think?
No, he did Spiritual Beggars.
Oh, Spiritual Beggars, right.
Yes. Was it? I didn't know. No, it wasn't Jeff Walker. Maybe you're thinking of something I don't know about. It was Emmett.
Right.
Emmett did Spiritual Beggars, which is sort of like, I don't know, old school rock. You know, it's really good.
No, Spiritual Beggars are pretty decent. I'm sure it was Jeff Walker did some blues project back in the mid 2000s, possibly. I think it was maybe.
Yeah. Well, he grew up in England. You know, there was some good blues from there. Well, so did Nurgle. Nurgle did Me and That Man, which is sort of like Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah, blues, stuff.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I'm like this is if it, like I totally get you what you were saying there. That was my example with Terror. But if they did a band outside of that one,
that's
different music. That's fine. That's different.
Yeah,
something that's so encroached, and I think, and was so used to that sound, then it wouldn't work in that sense. But like you said, you've done it from the start. And there was a point to this. I was going with it somewhere, but oh well. True Gas interviews, yay! So
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got to ask this man as well. Since we last talked, has there been any new bands start up in South Africa?
There's been a couple. Like there's another. I don't know how long they've been around. Not as long as us. There's a band called Grift, which is sort of more hardcore punk that we're playing with. And a couple of others. I think a lot of bands are still doing the core thing, which I'm not really into, you know. And nothing against the scene, the genre, the people. It's not my thing, you know. So I didn't get out that much. I just, you know, I've got a busy life. So lots of grown-up responsibilities. So I don't get out. And that's just me saying I'm lazy. I want to lie on my couch and watch Netflix on my 75-inch TV, you know. So so I don't get out that much. But yeah, a load of really good bands out of South Africa at the moment.
Nice. I remember, dude, I talked with a guy. I think I sent you an email. He was on the show, and he was the guy who wrote, that famous book.
Dude, it was these guys, wasn't it? Devil Speak.
No, this is them Des. Yeah, he was on the show a few years ago. No, it was Edward from. Oh man, I'm looking in the
vault
archives. He, you know, the books that they did on the African metal scene. That guy wrote, I think, what was it? Oh man. Right, I'll find it. I'm gonna. I will
My
find
brain
it.
is going ding ding.
I've got it.
I don't know.
I've got it. It was Negative 13, and I talked to Edward from that band, and he was the dude who wrote. I'm trying to remember this. Heavy Metal Africa. That was it. He was a guy who wrote Heavy Metal Africa, and he traveled around various African countries looking at the metal scene, and he knew. Cool. Devil Speak. I mentioned you guys to him. I'm not sure if he'd heard of you guys, but I knew he had of Devil Speak. So that was pretty tight. like got me quite hyper at the time. It's like, oh yeah, here's a dude, you know, knows how the African scene as well. Not that I know
that's cool.
everything about it. So album.
We made a Metal Hammer. Metal Hammer did an article. It was just re-released today.
Ooh.
What I think it was 10 bands from Africa you have to know about. So we were in that. It was pretty cool. I know it's the entire Africa. It's not just South Africa. So we featured in there, and that was pretty rad, you know.
Yeah, that's sick, man, no doubt. So the album is due to drop on
26 April. It will be on every digital platform conceivable. 27th, we're playing our physical launch.
Nice. And you got all the hard copies, the merch. Everyone can order those now. Just get in touch with her on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
That's badass, man. And next show coming up is at the album launch. Just a reminder.
Yeah, 27th of April is the album launch, and then we've got a couple of shows after that. When is it? In June. In June we've got 2 shows, and July we've got 1, and then there'll be some more later in the year. I don't like to book too many shows. People get bored.
Don't know oversaturate them.
I want to be in here writing new shit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's good.
We're also starting to work on our next EP. So our first EP came out in 2019, and it had 5 tracks, I think. And each track was an alternative version of a song from our first album. So our next EP will be alternative versions of tracks from our second and third albums, which is nice. You know, collabs, new techno versions of stuff. And I say techno, I mean industrial. Techno is something I've been calling it my whole life. So yeah, you know, have some fun.
Yeah, well, you get some pretty sick techno now. All the dark techno that's started to get popular from movies like John Wick, for example, and some of that's just as nasty and heavy as metal, man. So
but the shit from Europe, like Suicide Commando and stuff like that, that's been around forever, you know. I don't know where people take this from, but they're also a band that I've been listening to for a long time. And Cyclone 9, I'm guessing they're from the States. I can't remember. Which is just really heavy, filthy stuff, you know. I love it.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And I was really big into that whole scene when I started this band in like 2010, 2011, you know. I'm not that much into it. In my old age, I'm getting more into blues and stuff. But yeah, I still really enjoy making the music, you know.
Yeah, of course, definitely, man. So I just want to thank you for coming on. It's been great to talk to you again, man.
Yeah, man. Always nice catching up.
Yeah, it's sick to catch up, man. Everybody, don't forget to go out and support Chaos Doctrine. I'll put all the links up in the description in a short while. Definitely support metal worldwide, wherever. Just upsetting Dan's dogs as usual.
Are you hearing them?
Yeah.
All 6 of them losing their minds.
Where's that voice from?
Exactly.
So as always, man, like I did last time, let's get the album re-shouted out again where people can get it from. And just a reminder, could you also shout out a reminder of the album launch show as well, please?
Yeah. One last mention that I didn't get to in Feb.
Yeah, go for it, man.
We dropped like a Pink Floyd medley, 3 tracks from the wall. So if you're into Pink Floyd, go check it out. It's on our Bandcamp. It's on our YouTube. That was not Chaos Doctrine-ified. So we did not turn that into industrial death metal. Alec and I are huge Chaos Doctrine fans, huge Pink Floyd fans. So we wanted to do a proper tribute as close as possible to the original, but still sounding like it's us doing it. So go check it out. Yeah. So release. Yeah, it's out there already. Album coming the 26th. Heretic single dropping the 19th. Black Sabbath cover in 2 versions dropping on the 12th. So a lot of new Chaos Doctrine out there from next week.
Yeah, loads dropping, man, for sure. Well, man, honestly, it's been awesome talking with you. I want to send a shout out to everybody who's either watched live or watches later. I will be back.
Sorry, Brett, for forgetting.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
For 2 whole minutes. Sorry, Brett.
Yeah. I'm
It's gonna kick
infectious,
me in the
man.
balls when I come to England again.
See, yeah, man. My gaffs are contagious.
Sorry, I'm
All
shouting
right.
at the dogs.
Oh, no worries, man. All right, folks. I shall see you on the next episode, either here or wherever. And everyone, take care. Have a good one. Shout out to Dan and everyone at Chaos Doctrine. And see you all soon. Peace out for now, folks. Yay.
Cheers.
You're welcome, man.